guys, I hope y'all are feeling good. You're now tuned into the RIM segment. And right now, as you've already been warned, been told, we keep telling y'all don't sleep. Nightmare Radio Show is being really intentional about sharing the dreamer's journey. We really want to dive deep and provide the dreamer with the inspiration, the information, and the entertainment that's needed to fulfill these dreams. And we felt the best way to do that was to make a cute little pivot and change our Get Familiar segment to something a lot more intentional. So we bring to you Reliving Explicit Moments. And we're gonna do something a little different for our first installment of the RIM segment. I'm gonna flip the mic and put my queen into the seat as if she were a guest on the show today.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, y'all.
Yes. I feel like you got a story to tell, so I'm gonna help you relive your explicit moment because I think this is a good one that everybody that's on the journey will be able to touch a piece of. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna walk you through this. You know, you looking. We touched on it a little bit at the beginning. You're looking a lot more lighter, a lot more relieved. You look like you got some time and energy, some good space. And what's changed? What's the tea? What's going on?
Well, and I hope I say this right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have been released from the shackles of my 9 to 5.
Amen.
It was the journey. It was a journey. Let's get into the journey.
Absolutely. So you're let me just fill in the blank. So you've been released from your 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And what industry were you working in?
I was working in the construction industry, credit, accounting industry, finance industry, construction, finance. Yes.
Okay. And how long had you been there?
I had been there unofficially for 4 years. Started out as a temp, only was supposed to be there for 1 day. And I ended up being there for 3 years and 7 months. Yeah, 7 months.
And see, it's the stuff like that where dreams go to die, right?
Yes, it is.
Sometimes it seems like the office space or the corporate office setting can be like a graveyard for our own dreams and intentions. So,
and honestly, for people like me who have that entrepreneurial spirit, or people who have their own dreams and aspirations, it is.
Yeah,
it is
for sure. Let's make it specific because we keeping everything intentional. It's clear we are creatives.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a box that will fit us.
It's not a box that will fit us. However, I found myself as a creative and as someone who has an entrepreneurial spirit to provide security for my family by working a 9 to 5 job, and also by trying to be involved from just having my foot in the door, being involved to showcase my value and what I bring to the table and what I could bring to the company, essentially. Yeah.
It sounds like all the stuff that they funnel into us the 2 years before we leave college. Yeah,
definitely.
Because, it literally is set up. We set ourselves up. You go to college, you solicit all this money to get this education. And I'm not shitting on the educational system and that funnel at all, because I really did enjoy my college years, and I'd be remiss without them. But they can keep that $89,000 debt that I got. But anyway, they pump us up and they fill us with all of this knowledge and information so that we can go and fulfill someone else's dream.
Yeah, basically.
And you said you were supposed to be in that thing for a day, and you spent the latter half of 4 years there.
Did I say a day?
Well, you said it was like a 1 day assignment.
It was a month. Oh,
okay.
It was a month assignment, but it was only supposed to be a month. But I ended up spending my like you said, my latter days there. And it's all because of the security of it all. Like, before I was in that position, I was working temp at the state level, and I wasn't being fulfilled. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If I didn't have my kids when I had got out of college, I probably would have went 100% full force into my entrepreneurial journey, because that's what I was doing while I was in college. Mm-hmm. I was a part of the Sigma Nu Tau Entrepreneurship Honor Society. I won the entrepreneurship competition, but I still, once I got pregnant, it
felt like you had
changed.
To conform.
It's not even really about conform. It's about being able to provide or being able to have that security,
that stability,
that stability and security of it all, you know?
And as a parent, you know, we are one and the same when it comes to that, of course. That is true. And I think that we come from we are the product of a generation that was so hell-bent on, you better get you a good job with some good beating so you can provide for your family.
Right.
Fuck a dream.
Right.
Fuck a passion, a purpose. We don't have time for that. These kids need braces, glasses, shoes, and food on the table. And the lights got to somehow find a way to stay on, right? So from that perspective, like, it was expected to take whatever you can get and do it.
And you know what? It's not, yes, that as well, but also going back to the school space or the collegiate space, you know, when they put in our heads, like, you know, you can leave school, you can get a job making 6 figures, you know, you can do these things and be this person. Of course, everyone has ambitions of climbing that corporate ladder. Mm-hmm. And me, myself, once my senior year came and I had to make that pivot, I did have big ambitions of wanting to climb that corporate ladder, which is why I put myself in that corporate space after I took a leap of faith previously, before I got into that space. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day.
Right.
But the point of this conversation is to talk about Black people in the corporate space, and just to talk about the value, the conforming. Let's start with conformity first. So for me, it was very hard for me to be my authentic self in the workspace that I was in these past 7 months that I was there.
Why was it hard for you to be yourself?
It was hard for me to be myself because I had Becky, that's what I'm going to call her. I had Becky sucking me dry. I was moved from one team to another, and I was the only person holding down one part of the team for a very long time. And once it came to a point to have the conversation with Becky about me being paid my value or my worth for what I'm bringing to the company, that's when things shifted. That's when things started to get weird.
Because you finally decided to speak up and voice your opinion in protection of yourself.
In protecting of myself and in protecting of me being able to provide for my family.
Right.
Yes, I do have this job and I am reliant on X amount of dollars every 2 weeks, whatever, benefits and whatever. But at the same time, there are people who have been working their jobs for however many years that they've been working their jobs, and it still doesn't provide a sense of security for them.
No.
A lot of our parents had to have part-time jobs because their 9-to-5 job that provided them with benefits and stability was not enough. Mm-hmm. And I started to find myself in that area. Now, when I'm trying to be authentic with Becky and let her know, hey, this is my situation, this is what I have going on, she's in turn taking it to her boss, who is another white person, and using it against me because it's not, and using it against me. Later on, she used it against me because the results weren't coming in from me how they wanted it to be.
How they
expect, what?
Because I don't want you to sell yourself. I know I'm supposed to be driving you through like I don't know, but I also don't want you to sell yourself short in this conversation either. Because while you were working in this role, you were producing.
Yes.
You were everything that they wanted of you when you were not your full self.
Right.
But the second that you started peeling back your own layers,
right,
and realizing, hey, there's so much more to me, let me share that.
Right.
We don't need none of that. All we wanted was that cookie cutter,
that person who can come here and do this
job. Yeah. This right here. We don't care about all the talents that you have stuck in you.
Right.
Keep them stuck for all we care, because all that matters is what are you pouring into this right here for this over here. People get caught up in that all the time.
Exactly. And to your point, right? And we have a whole shit here, and I try to put it together so that we can have the conversation. But the conversation is basically about Black people in the corporate space.
And Black creatives.
And Black creatives in the corporate space. To your point, right? The company is always telling management to, fully produce and fully help your associates develop.
Yeah,
develop.
The job is
Professional
supposed to be
development.
for professional and personal development.
Correct.
If you're in the right place.
If you see that I am heavily involved with inclusion and diversity, you see that I'm heavily involved with project management, you see that I'm going around you to get to your boss's boss. You see what I'm saying? And I'm sitting at meetings and I'm doing these things to, to elevate not only the company and a little putting myself on the back burner here for right now, not only the company, but other Black people and other Black young people who can potentially survive or have an opportunity, like they like to say, have an opportunity to be in a higher position in this company. You don't want to, if you don't want to take me out of my regular position because you know that I am a person who is able to pump out paperwork, 150 papers a week.
That's what
200 papers a week. That's what they wanted to leave me in. But as soon as I showed a piece of intelligence that I'm smarter than you, I can help you in your role as a manager, because then it came down to, well, you want to be a manager in this company. What would you do as a manager, right? And then I'm telling her, okay, if I was a manager, this is what I would do. If I was a manager, this is what I would do. And in turn, Becky would take my ideas, take it back to the team, and try to implement them as her own. That's number one. That's number one why Black people don't belong in the corporate space, because y'all already do it outside of the motherfucking corporate space. TikTok, for example. If we get on TikTok and we say Corvette, hop in the motherfucking jet like that, y'all gonna go out there, remix the song, put a country twist on it, and now it's Kim Kardashian wears these braids for the first time.
Bo Derek braids. Girl, please.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And that shit was literally
Appropriation does happen, for sure.
Appropriation, thank you, was literally happening to me.
And see, that's not all that was happening to you.
That's not all that was happening. But let's talk about inclusion and diversity for a minute. Companies are struggling with recruiting college students. I put myself on the front lines of being there. College students ain't showing up. They're not engaged. They don't give a fuck, because they know that in 2020, when George Floyd died, that all y'all companies are trying y'all best to save your ass, to show that you value Black lives, to save your Black dollar, or to save your company from looking like a racist company. These young people are smarter than us, okay? They know y'all agenda. When it comes down to inclusion and diversity, y'all not recruiting Black people or young Black people, or even promoting Black people that have been in the company for 20 years to sit at the table, or to sit around the table with other executives and other vice presidents or other chiefs or whatever. There's not a Black chief in sight at the company that I work for. And in the corporate credit office that I was working in, it was only one Black person that was a corporate credit trainer. It was only one Black woman, one. And I'm gonna get into that in a second too. They are creating these spaces for these resource groups, and I did research. Okay, they're called employee resource groups, they're called business resource groups, they're called resource groups. These resource groups are the progressive groups, like African Americans, LGBTQ, and women's, right?
Mm-hmm. All the minorities.
Companies are creating these groups because they want to be able to include these minorities in their company. But what they're doing
they want to say that, oh, our company believes in inclusion, and this is how we're
doing it. This is what we're doing to promote inclusion and diversity in our company.
Very much so, like the rest of the world, like every other industry, because it's trendy to be
inclusive,
invested in minorities and persons of color's lives and in their culture. It's trendy to say to have a stake or to have a seat at the table, to be a part of the conversation.
Right.
But in all, you're not interested in having the conversation. You're just interested in passing with the look so that you can continue to do what you got to do.
And you know what? I don't even think it's about passing with the look at this point. I've deep dived into something a little bit deeper than that. I'm about to tell you real quick. So they're providing these spaces to have these conversations. Anyone in the company can join these groups, right? I don't think if majority of the company, say for example, 65% of the company is white. If you have 30% of your company or 20 that are black people, and then let's say the other 20 are Latino or 15% Latino, Asian, 10% Asian or whatever, right? How many people you think is going to join the group? What is the majority in the African American group if 60% of the company is white? What's the majority in the African American group?
It's still going to be black. Why is it not? Oh, because you can't tell people that they can't join.
You can't say exactly.
So everybody.
So this is inclusion and diversity. So these are people who are supposed to be allies joining these groups to show that, hey, I stand with you. I stand in solidarity with you, right? So in turn, we have these conversations in these spaces to promote inclusion. But I don't think that's what we're doing. We're giving them a front row seat to what the fuck is bothering us. We're giving them a front row seat to our issues and how we really, 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 really feel.
Is that what's like? Do you think that that's fairly and justly happening in these spaces, or are these spaces crowded with non-minority people that are trying to prove that I'm for you, that the voices of the minority, even in their own space that's curated for them, still can't be heard?
Boom.
That's what I'm getting.
That's what I'm feeling, because at the same time, how can you sit up here, join this group as an ally,
and yet you're dominating,
yet you're still dominating it, the leader of the group? How can this be an African American group, but the leader of the group is a white person?
Yeah, it's that white savior complex.
That's don't make sense. Second of all, I use my voice to educate the people in the group about something that they need to know about, which was about what are HBCUs. You will be surprised how many white folks don't know what an HBCU is, where it came from, the passion that comes behind it, and why black people go.
Because why would? Hey, 1 second. And this is what I learned at a PWI. The problems of the minority do not exist. It's a period. If I'm the minority and it's just me and you, and we have a common link, shared problem, issue, grievance, and it's only the two of us that can relate to it, Philip outside, because he cannot relate, our problem does not exist to him.
Exactly.
So even in a space that is created for us, they don't even see it. I mean, and I'm not even I'm not saying this stale face and just swiping the slate clean of everybody, because there are some people that really do have, their intentions are in the right place. But if a group or an organization was created or implemented, and I take a personal attachment to it, because it brings me back to the literal threats that I got when I was in the Black Student Alliance, a black organization at a white school. And it was issues for the reasons why we had the black organization. But either way, if there's issues or grievances that are happening amongst the minority and the majority wants to emphasize, and, I understand, you got to understand it, but you have to be able to recognize it. And without being directly in it, sometimes it's just hard. You can't do it. So you coming in here, oh, look what we did for black people. Look, I'm president of the Black Club. You can't. That's not your club. That's not our club. It's your club.
It's your club for you guys to understand us. But when are we going to be able to understand you? When are we going to be able to have a conversation about, so who's going to explain to us what the Proud Boys are and where they come from and why they stand for what they stand for? When we going to start to ask the white people the questions, why we got to be in the front lines of, this is who we are, this is why you guys should understand us, this is why you guys need to accept us. Why are black people always on the front lines of, hey, this is who we are and this is why you need to love us?
Conformity.
Exactly. But we have yet to understand why you are in alliance with us, why you disagree with all these other supporters and all these X amount of groups that are out here hating black people. We have yet to do that, but yet and still we find ourselves having to educate these people on why we are who we are just for them to give us their ass to kiss. That's what I don't appreciate about inclusion and diversity, because
at the corporate
at the corporate level, because here you are saying that you're an ally to me, but when it's time for you to stand on the front lines for me and what I bring to this company,
you ain't nowhere to be found.
You nowhere to be found. You let me go because I'm not giving you what you want or what you need or what my position stands for or what I am employed at this company for. once you start getting I'm speaking myself. Once I started getting a little bit too involved, once I started doing a little bit too much, that's when the shit started getting a little fishy. Here I am having a whole conversation with the senior vice president and the president of Claflin, and this has to be put out there like this now because I put myself on the front line for the company to recruit from this school. Y'all are using me as the poster child
and the connection point, because without me there would be no link.
Hello, as look at Aisha. She's been successful. She's been here. She's done this.
And really though, but really and truly though, the image that was being pushed from you, like if you had the opportunity today, what I want to ask you, the same students that you had a chance to talk to while you were working for this company under the guise of diversity, inclusion, and recruitment, what would, now that you've survived and that you've made it to the other side of this, what would you tell those same students?
Honestly, those students are very smart. Those students did not engage as much as they wanted to with our presentation. I'm not sure if it was something that I did in the presentation, or maybe I'm not sure if it was just the information or if it was just the way that the company looked. And you don't see a lot of you. You don't see a lot of people. You only hearing that I've worked at this job for 20 plus years and I'm still here. You haven't heard, and yes, there's some people that were able to move around in the company, hence that corporate credit trainer. And I'm gonna get back to that in a second. But there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of people they're not stupid. Now, when I don't think them people gonna apply to the thing, and that's what they said. Like there's a lot more that you have to do because there's a lot more companies coming to these campuses.
Yeah,
you can't just show up, do a presentation, and think everybody gonna want to come and be there.
But also, which is another thing, like getting us back to the point of the Black creatives, corporate spaces, and stuff like that. Like you got to go where you're gonna be watered. Right. You know what I'm saying? So even for those that are not necessarily like looking to leave the workforce completely, if you want to work still, whatever, whether you want to be in corporate or not, like what's the intention behind it? Because your intention behind that job, I almost said the name too, child. My bad, girl.
Don't say it. I know. I really don't care, but we're going to respect them because we don't want lawsuits.
Right. But, I know that the intention initially was to secure something that was reliable to provide a foundation for my family, right? Mm-hmm. And I want, if you're searching for a job, if you're out there seeking a job, for sure, securement, that's really important, whatever. And whatever you do, I'm sure it's not always guaranteed, whatever. But what else are you seeking out of this place? Because these MFers are going to use you until you're dry, mm-hmm. and then give you your signing papers and keep it pushing and replace you. Unless you decide to fire them, replace them, use them into their job. I'm going to this job because I need to get this, and a check. Because what I want to do, I need to learn how to do this, and I can figure it out on my own, or I can let somebody teach me and pay me and teach me. So by the time or whatever, I can fire my own job. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And which internally was a plan once they, showed me their true colors, told me I was robbing the company and all these other things that they were saying to me. But that in turn was the plan. But we are busy. Not giving myself an excuse. I should have been able to have the time to apply for something else and to get what I wanted, to have a smooth transition, as we're saying. But that job was taking up so much of my time because I'm so heavily involved with other things. There's other things that I'm doing. I ain't had a time to.
Yeah.
I didn't have the time. But ultimately, I want to say this. I know that this is something that going back into a corporate space at that level, or trying to prove myself or show what I can do for the company, I hate to say, and I hope I don't sound ridiculous, mom and dad, but I'm not trying to do that anymore. I've already been burnt. I know that there are people who, when these type of things happen, you brush yourself off, you keep it moving, you go to the next place, and you take what you learned and you apply it. But I'm taking what I've learned, and I'm learning that I shouldn't have to conform myself. I shouldn't have to not go to a job every day and not be fulfilled just to please people. not trying to sound selfish because I know I have a family that I have to take care of. But if I know every day that I want to wake up and I want to work for myself, or I have dreams that I want to fulfill, or things that I need to do, why would I continue to put myself in a situation where I'm not feeling fulfilled, or where I'm not going to get my just due at the end of the day? So I have been doing my own research on how to step out on faith without a plan, or not even step out on faith without a plan. Pursue what I want to pursue without a plan. I have a business coach who will be here next week. She'll be on the show next week, so we'll be able to talk to her.
And you're not doing it without a plan.
It's not even without a plan. It's just
different from
what is.
It's just a new journey. This is the journey that you were supposed to be on. Nothing is done without a plan, whether it's our plan or God's plan.
Right.
Fuck that past and everything that came with the restrictions with corporate America.
Yeah, fuck them. I'm about to smoke a blunt after this.
Period, because you can say that now. You listen, that was the biggest blessing.
It was the biggest blessing of 2021. And on December 29th, when I got that phone call and they told me, I was like, okay. And I logged the fuck off. I took them they shit back, and I was like, all right, now I got this to do, I got that to do, and I have the time to do it. Yep. So if you are a person who is a creative, who is working that 9 to 5, have an exit strategy.
Yes.
Have an exit strategy. I'm not saying to get out here and completely wing it, because that's internally what I'm going to be doing for the next 6 months.
No, you're not. No,
I'm not going to be winging it. You're right. I'm not winging it. But at the same time, it's just everything that I'm about to do is so unprecedented, and it's not what my family wants me to be doing.
And you know what? They have your best. Their intentions are great, and their goal. And that goes for all of us, all of those that love somebody else and want to see them do things. But now you are really about to check out who and what you can do and what you're about to be. And I'm here for it, girl. I'm about to be right next to you. What's up? Okay, period.
Yes, but at the end of the day, going back to corporate America, inclusion and diversity is still something that's going to be ongoing. And as far as allyship is concerned, Black people, you guys need to be allies for other Black people as well. Everybody can't be a creative. Everybody can't be an entrepreneur. So if inclusion and diversity is going to be going on, I encourage everyone to be involved in some sort of capacity. Hopefully you have a manager who's not a Becky, who will allow you to operate in the space that you need to get that job done. But for the Black people who are in the upper level, you need to be able to reach back to these Black people in your company and speak to them, give them mentorship, be a person, be a real ally, be someone who's going to stand in the gap for them. Don't be a gatekeeper to the point where you so far up the white person's ass that you can't reach back to your own brother or sister to help them get to where they want to be. I want Black people to be delivered from working at a company for years on decades with nothing to show for it. I want Black people to be delivered from giving their all and their loyalty to a company and still having to struggle at the end of the day, because there's a lot of people, my family included, who are in these situations, and I just don't feel like it's fair, because those 40 hours a week, every week for the rest of the year, that's time that you could be putting into something else. And the time that I'm about to get back, I'm telling y'all now, like I said on my birthday post on Facebook and Instagram, by the end of this year, I'm going to have the biggest testimony of all testimonies. I'm about to do the craziest shit that anybody would have never thought of doing, because I just have to do it, and that's just what it is. And I hate that I have to disappoint my parents the way I'm about to.
No, you're gonna make it's a brief, minor, small upset for the.
And you know what? I'm not gonna say disappoint them, because I feel like if I have. As long as my plan is executed well and it's successful, then I don't really owe them shit.
Ain't nothing about to be disappointed. That's the thing. They're not about, they just can't see it. No shade, mama, daddy. This is to my parents and my family too. And I love y'all. We do.
Right.
We can't help them. They were not. This is transitioning into the word.
Right.
They were not on a conference call. They do not see the vision. It is not their fault. They are not supposed to see the vision. They are supposed to be the adversity in your life that inspires the faith to push forward.
Right.
So they are doing their job. They're supposed to be up in your ear just because this is about to see how bad you want it. Yeah, go back and throw yourself into a job that's bottomless, dead end, does not support or cultivate any of the God-given talents that you have. Go get that money. I want the best for you, but this is literally all I know. And so I'm taking the knowledge that I've experienced for myself and I'm imparting that on you because I don't know what you're experiencing, and I also can't even see. I know that you're glowing and that you're great and that you're my miracle, but I can't even see what God has called for you. So all I can do out of all of my love is give you only thing that I know. This is what sustained me. So surely it's good enough for you. And mommy, daddy, I love you, but God has called me for more.
Yes.
So all I need for you to do is sit back and watch this faith test and what it's going to do in your life, because the way I'm about to live and fulfill this miracle that's inside of me that's been claimed and proclaimed over my life, it's about to put you in a position to watch some shit that you would have never seen before.
Right. Exactly.
Ooh, I really feel that.
And it's about to happen.
Ooh.
You guys are about to witness it.
Yes.
I will be vlogging my journey. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I could, but
You should. I watch it. Hell, y'all better like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube page.
and it's gonna be straight to Nightmare Radio YouTube too, so y'all already know.
That's right. Before we get out of here, quick, cute and quick word, because I just had to drop that little piece on my good sister over here.
I appreciate it, and that's what I was saying. Y'all hoes don't got the pour like that. Y'all just don't got it.